So Bitcoin has been stuck in this sideways grind, right? And if you're anything like me, you're probably asking yourself, what's coming next? Are we about to see a big leg up, or is a drop on the horizon? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're focusing on the key technical and on-chain data that's really going to tell us where Bitcoin is headed.
Right now, it honestly feels like the market is just holding its breath. There's no clear direction, no conviction one way or the other. So the big question on everyone's mind is, are we just building a new floor before we blast off to new all-time highs? Or is this the calm before a much, much bigger storm? All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why the market is so indecisive right now. Then, we'll zoom into a pretty worrying chart pattern that's popped up. After that, we're diving deep into the on-chain data to see how the price is getting squeezed. We'll also pinpoint a really critical support level that, well, it's looking a bit shaky. And finally, I'll give you a checklist of exactly what to watch for next. So yeah, the market is just completely in flux. It's carving out this new trading range. You can almost picture it like a battlefield, The bulls and the bears are just locked in this brutal tug of war for control. And whoever wins this fight, they're going to dictate the next major move for Bitcoin. Now, let's zoom out a bit and look at the weekly chart, because this is where all this indecision starts to paint a really concerning picture. There's a specific pattern forming that has a pretty chilling history behind it, and it's something we absolutely cannot afford to ignore. It's called a close above, close below, and let's be honest, it's a textbook bull trap. Think of it like a fighter throwing a huge punch, but having absolutely zero follow-through. The market pokes its head above a key resistance level, but then the sellers just immediately shove it right back down. It's a huge sign that they are still very much in control. And this is where it gets a little spooky. We are seeing the exact same pattern that showed up at the market top in November 2021, right before that last brutal bear market really kicked into gear. Now, look, history never repeats itself perfectly, but it sure does rhyme. And this particular rhyme is a serious, serious warning sign for the bulls. But hey, we don't have to just rely on chart patterns. Let's peel back another layer and look at the on-chain data. This stuff gives us a raw, unfiltered view of what's actually happening on the blockchain itself. And spoiler alert, it pretty much confirms everything we've been suspecting. What we're looking at here basically shows where the big players have been active. Think of it like a heat map of buying and selling. And right now, we are completely sandwiched. We've got a massive wall of sellers who bought higher just waiting to get their money back overhead, and then we have several floors of support with buyers stacked up below us. The price is quite literally trapped. So we're stuck in this standoff, but one of those key support floors underneath us, it's really starting to buckle. This right here is the canary in the coal mine, and I gotta tell you, it's starting to look a little sick. That critical level is sitting right around $110,900. This is the average price that all the recent buyers, the short-term holders, paid for their Bitcoin. Now, in a healthy bull market, this is the exact line in the sand where the buy-the-dip army shows up. But this time, something feels different. And here's the real kicker. We have tested this level 3 separate times in just the last month and a half. I mean, think about that. The first time we hit it, buyers stepped in hard. The second time, you could hear the support start to creak. So what do you think happens on the third knock?
So why is this such a massive red flag? Well, for one, these short-term buyers have already had to defend this line twice. How much firepower do they have left? On top of that, the on-chain data shows the same group is taking profits way earlier in this cycle than they normally do, which tells me they're getting nervous. A third test of this level might just be the one that finally breaks the dam. Okay, so we've laid out all the evidence, right? We have a weak-looking chart, an on-chain price trap, and a super important support level that looks like it's on life support. So where do we go from here? What are the key signals we need to be watching that'll give us a clue? Here's your toolkit, your cheat sheet for the days ahead. First, keep a really close eye on new money coming into the ecosystem through stablecoins. Second, watch the ETF flows to see what the big institutions are doing. Third, monitor the behavior of the long-term veterans versus the short-term newbies. And finally, see how the traditional stock market is behaving when it opens. These are your early warning signals. Which, of course, leaves us with the ultimate question. Is this whole thing just a temporary pit stop on the highway to new all-time highs? Just a healthy pause before the next rocket ship takes off? Or are we staring down the barrel of a much deeper, more painful correction? The answer, my friends, is hidden in the data we just went through. What do you think comes next?